round up the show with the game that is on Monday next. This is at 11:15 in the Kobe Misaki Stadium in Kobe City, refereed by Pascal Gozer. Scotland against Samoa. It's
good game.
It's an absolute blessing for the Scots. It is an absolute blessing that they've had 8 days to recover from that opening day.
That is true.
Shellacking at the hands of Ireland. I mean, they were shocked. Like, shocked is an understatement. John Barclay, your captain and talisman, was vomiting on the field after 30 minutes of action, and the rest of the team were similar. Like, they were stunned by the conditions. They were all over the place, and Ireland at their best are such a physical team as well. They just couldn't deal with any of it for a minute, not remotely.
Especially going behind to Ireland, who love front running.
But even just they were slow and cumbersome in their offence, and the Irish line speed just got up, and then Finn Russell was under pressure, and he was doing floundersome things instead of just setting
He did
it
get
up.
hit multiple times.
Yep.
Like Bundyaki, I think, put in 3 or 4 hits on him before going off, and then Chris Farrell came in and put in more than that. So I'm thinking, like, just from the inside centre channel, Finn got hit around close to 10 times, which is going to affect that offence. And then Stewie Hogg, similarly, I think it was Gary Ringrose for the most part, was tasked with shutting his access to the wide channels out from 13, and he did that mostly successfully. They were caught flat-footed. They were nowhere near the pace of the game, and like even in the tight, McAnally lost pretty much every contact. I think he was in so many tackles, and he's a talisman for them. Like, they need him stepping up. And strange calls like Fraser Brown spending 20 odd minutes on the, maybe more, I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes.
7 for ages instead of I can't name escapes me. Blade Thompson, that's who it was. Blade Thompson sat on the bench while that was going on, and it was like,
and he looked gassed after being on for 10 minutes in the back row. It was like suddenly Fraser Brown was gone, and then McAnally has to stay on. Like, it was all just crazy stuff from Scotland's perspective, really. Like, I didn't expect it. I was grateful for it from an Irish perspective. Like, we were getting that Scott sexual vibe of, like, really fearing the Finn Russell floaty pass out to the wide channels to cut off our blitz defence or something. Didn't see a second of it. Didn't see a second of it. And it reminded me, like, we have been making, and only sort of Irish rugby fans will really be in the head of this, but we have been, ever since Scotland sort of went from being utterly garbage to being very capable attacking side, we have sort of been painting the picture of them as a similar body to Eddie O'Sullivan's Ireland side, which a lot of you wouldn't be familiar with, but he would have been in charge in Ireland from about 2003 through 2008. And in that period, Ireland played some lovely rugby, really up to 2 or 3 levels. Obviously, they had the likes of O'Driscoll. They had a wonderful attacking backline. And like Scotland do now, like in Stuart Hogg, they have one of the best players in the world, and Finn Russell on his day, superb out half. And they loved to run the football, but they always just fell short. They never quite won anything. They never quite had a dominant scrum. They could only ever hope for parity at scrum time, and then we'll play some football.
Exactly. But they had some great wins. They had some magnificent days, some big scalps over England, the old enemy. It's taken a similar pattern, and they were a great team that I remember with fondness. But how that team rounded up was with the mother of all disasters in a World Cup, where they were all over the place, badly conditioned, got nearly run over by Georgia, and then completely run through by France and Argentina, and then go home, lads. And that was a side that had been bigging themselves up as contenders, and I see parallels to that team still through this side, and the pictures of them looking shocked and gassed and all over the place,
and getting sick. That's one of the more shocking things I've seen at the World Cup, is Barkley getting sick at 30 minutes. I'm like, what is that?
Exactly. And just all over them, it felt and looked very similar. So listen, they have had an 8-day break. They're going to be playing a Samoa side that stuttered against Russia, that do have some threats, but one of them in Ray Lilo is likely to have been, by the time this video is up, even probably sighted and gone. Likewise, I think their hooker is going to be gone as well because of
similar incident.
Two high shots that should have been reds.
It was let's all smash Artemiev Day from the Samoans' point of view.
And they also lost Emosa through injury, so they're a depleted Samoa side that didn't look particularly good, especially in the contact. It is a chance for Scotland to steady the ship, to get on top. I would love to see George Horne in at scrum half.
For that pace. Obviously they've lost Ali Price to injury, and he was kind of their pace option to kind of speed the game up once Laidlaw's off. I think against Samoa you want to start with nippiness, and George Horne impresses me.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah, I like his tracking runs. I like the way he's, especially I think they should take, first of all, that goofball dude Duncan Taylor out of the team and get Chris Harris, who's a really good centre, into the team. Scottish fans have been trying to convince me of Duncan Taylor for quite a while, and I remain unconvinced.
I'm getting close to convinced, but it's not in the direction that they're pulling me. I'm pretty convinced that he's a club level player.
Yeah, where Harris has been nothing but great. They should throw Harris in there with Johnson, and that gives you two very fundamental, direct centres running.
Which shores up one of their main defensive weaknesses from the years gone by, when it was Hugh Jones and sometimes Hugh Jones with Finn and Horne in there, and it was just very frail and brittle in the centres. This is a bit more fundamental. Sam Johnson is a revelation in 12.
Yes.
He's really solid.
He's still really great.
He is. And he wasn't the worst of them against Ireland, to be honest. He made his tackles.
So having those guys in there running hard lines, but then what you need to do is get guys running good tracking lines off them, and George Horne is great for that. They need to be taking their tries, and they need to stop. They've been flirting with the idea of moving away from the offensive rugby that they've been playing, and they haven't got the talent to do it. They haven't got the ability to play a forward game against any of the tight sides. They have to play quickly. That's what they're talking about. We want to be the quickest side in world rugby. Well, then with the greatest respect, what's Laidlaw doing in the 9 jersey? If you want to be the quickest team in world rugby, you're struggling for an identity here.
Well, it's true. If you're going to tell me you're the quickest team in world rugby, you're not the quickest team in the pool. Japan are.
Well, yeah, but they've got to get there.
Yeah,
they've got to play that rugby that suits the eye of Finn and Hogg, who are their two main men.
Yeah,
and that's what they've got to do against what will be a tricky enough Samoa outfit.
Yeah, well, if they're a bit loose in their offense like that, you can expect the likes of Leua or
certainly Leua has been very
guy can come. Yeah, well. he'll make some plays on either side of the ball, because they'll bring some line speed. Will the Samoans if they're fancying this at all, and if they sniff that bit of weakness or disjointedness which could recur from Scotland, like that. If you're going to hark back to that Ireland 07 parallel, like there was always that little bit of hope. Like it started off with a stuttering display against, I think, was it Namibia, where they didn't win by anywhere near enough, but it was always like, oh, we'll have the turnaround and we'll go again, and it just got worse and worse and worse.
It's just about got over the line against both of the tier 2 sides, then had a game against France, which they got stuffed, but then a game against Argentina, and right to the last day, despite it being a complete disaster, they were in it. Which could be the narrative for Scotland here. But they have every chance to put this Samoa team away, purely because I don't know that Samoa, based on what I saw today, I mean, they have plays in them. Leo is a very, very sharp operator, so too is Nanai-Williams. But they didn't look good against Russia. Like those back rows who had impressed me so, TJ Ioane and Chris Vui, just looking completely off the pace and getting blasted back by those big Russians who were in the mood. Wasn't a particularly good picture. Now they probably can go to another level.
They definitely can. I've seen them. I've seen Samoa at another level, and I've seen a Samoa with mostly those players. I think they should switch up the 10 jersey from Samoa's point of view.
From 2CPC was all over the place, and now is not the time for conservatism, Samoan coaches. I mean,
like you said, conservatism. I don't know if that even explains
but that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's not. We're going to take out this young kid, say Uteni, because he might be a little green in the gills, and we're going to get in our experienced man, the 37-year-old completely out of the game 2CPC, who's just going to miss kicks and then be a passenger.
And he very nearly coughed up a try from an exit play as well. That was horrendous.
They've got to get Sayateni back in there and get a bit of youth and vigour back into the team. I would move Alapali Leua to the centre and attack Scotland through the middle. They may not have Lilo to partner with him, but sure, look, that's what happens when you smash people in the head like that. But I think they do have definitely good offensive plays in them, but from Scotland's perspective, they can be got at.
They can, if their set piece gets got at, which is what was missing most from Scotland's performance, as well as the physicality or whatever. It's just that irksome combativeness that they bring to things like defensive mauls, things like defensive breakdowns. They just try and make things difficult when they're on their game. And
Barkley's a huge doer of that. He was all over the place. Exactly. He was in his own little world of stomach aches and misery.
So that was obviously a concern from a condition point of view, but that's what, when Scotland are at their best, that's what they bring. It's not necessarily raw physicality, but it is wiliness and combativeness and awkwardness to play. Like when Scotland are at their best, they're just an unpleasant team to play. Because as much as they have threats out wide, their pack tend to be niggly and combative. And when you bring that kind of game to Samoa, who can get disjointed in the pack very quickly, that'll be what they're looking to do, is be that combative side and pick them apart.
Magnus Bradbury's flying out. Maybe it's going to be a week too soon for him, but if they can get him out there
He's a big ball carrier.
He's a guy I wouldn't mind seeing, and then you wouldn't mind seeing Ben Toulis either, because I wasn't impressed with Johnny Gray.
No, I thought Gray was all over the place.
Yeah,
and I like Toulis Gilchrist. For me, is Scotland's best.
Yeah, it's got that Edinburgh vibe.
It is the Edinburgh
they vibe off each other.
Yeah, and they're both workhorses in that kind of fashion. They're not the most out and out physical locks, but they put themselves about for the 80 minutes.
They win contacts because they move with a bit of speed and subtlety, so they can win contacts, certainly against the Samoans. And then just giving Finn nice clean offensive ball. Samoa will bring nowhere near the kind of line speed that Ireland brought. No. They will have time to pick their passes and to pick Samoa apart, and that is what I hope and expect that they'll do. But there is a huge question mark thrown up after that opening day.
Definitely.
And Samoa, for all of their faults, I didn't think they were great against Russia.
Their attack's still lovely when it gets going.
Gorgeous. Leua in particular is on song, and an on song Leua is a threat to any man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and then similarly, Tim Nanai-Williams from fullback. I think I agree with you. Sayutani impressed me enough in the PNC. 2CPC convinced me as well in the game. The performance just gone that. It's time for some youth, and Sayutani looks like a very well balanced 10. Looks kind of similar to Tamora, in fact, in terms of he plays a bit of kicking game, but he likes to run the pill baby. Yeah. Good passer of a ball, reads the game pretty well. I would love to see that little combination come in and see some Samoan attack, which is very hard to stop when they get in flow.
It is indeed.
From Scotland's point of view, it'll be about achieving their own flow and preventing Samoa from getting theirs, and hopefully the class showing in the end from Scotland's point of view, and they'll put a bit of scoreboard pressure and get a bit of separation from Samoa, because they really need some confidence to take into these next few games, and this is a good chance for them to restore some of that.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Overlap Rugby Podcast World Cup content. If you enjoyed that video, please feel free to subscribe and comment down below, as well as share with your friends. Thanks.